Alright, here we go. How y'all doing? Today is biceps. Day 2 of 3x5 superset. I'm going to start off with drag curls. I saw these from a Charles Glass video. I like to use these as a way to warm up the bicep. So when you do the drag curls, you're here on drag to weight up your body. Let your elbows go behind you. See? Like so. There we go. I think it's a good warm-up exercise. I think different exercises are better at different places in your workout. That's funny. Yep, so with these drag curls, I like them as a bit warm-up because I feel like it works the entire bicep. You feel it through. So again, up. I'm also letting my wrist kind of hang. Yep, there we go. There we go. Like what? Last set. So, everybody has their own way of working out and their own philosophies. I like to train higher volume. So with that being said, I don't mind taking a workout and starting off with that workout and using that. My 3 sets is more of a warm-up. And, going balls to the wall. But to each his own, each their own. I'm no expert. This guy who likes to lift weights. Here we go. That's it. Elbows back. One more. There we go. On to the next. So, when it comes to supersets, actually, yeah, I'd say supersets, but then also, I'd say most exercise in general. I like to, I'll start off with supersets actually. With supersets, I like to try to put the movement where I'm overloading the muscle towards the beginning while I still have the energy. Again, some people, they look at it, they like to pre-exhaust the muscle with doing movements with maybe lighter weights. And then as they progress in their workout, when they get to their movement that would be an overload movement, they don't have to use as much weight. To each their own. And personally, if there's a movement that I'm using to overload the muscle, then in my opinion, I want that movement, I want to be able to lift the heaviest amount of weight as possible on that movement. So if I pre-exhaust and I'm taking that away, it's not quite the same. So that being said, however, within the superset, I like to put the weaker movement first and the stronger movement afterwards. I'll show you guys what I mean. So right here, I'm going to do I'm going to do a regular barbell curl first. I'm playing around with my grip because this is the weaker movement between a barbell curl and my reverse curl. So here we go. So the reason why I put and it sounds very contradictory, but the way I look at it, when it comes to within the movement, there we go. My bicep is feeling a little funny. And the reason why I kind of contradict it like that is just because either way, heavyweight is being moved, so that's still towards the beginning of the workout. But within the superset, if one of the movements is going to fail earlier anyway, there's another movement that's a bit stronger where I could probably do a little more weight. That's why I pre-exhaust. I could probably do a little. At this point, I can do more weight with my reverse curl than my barbell curl. But rather than going back and forth and switching the weight over and over again, I just pre-exhausted. I think it also kind of depends on the movements you're doing as well. Like for example, if you guys saw my video yesterday, my chest workout, I like when I do the decline presses. I do the press first and then the fly. I don't want the fly to mess up my press. But then when I do the incline, personally, I prefer to do flies first and then the press with incline. How that goes because I'm using dumbbells. It's towards the end of the workout. With it being towards the end of the workout, it's not, I already have my movements that are overload movements. That's also why I like to, in a program, I like to keep that in mind. Which movement is my overload movements? That way, as I progress through my workout, if there's certain movements where, I don't get too caught up in the mix, too worried about the weight for certain movements. It's not always about the weight, but it's not like the weight has nothing to do with it either. There we go. There we go. Back up a little more. There we go. One more set. On my way here, I was trying to think about stuff that I'd say. I forgot. Alright, here we go. That's it. I gotta do these. I think this house rubbing. Yeah, this feels like pretty good grip. I like to go a little wider. And I like to tuck elbows in. One more. There we go. I got here late. I tried to get here around 3:30 in the morning. I got here a little before 4. There we go. Bleep, bleep. That's it for that. We're going to move on to the dumbbell. And here we go. So we got ourselves some dumbbell curls and hammer curls. There we go. So now, when I do these, I like to kind of curl and go out a little bit with it. Or twist, I should say. I tried to lead with my ring finger, or ring knuckle, I should say. Hammer curls, this is, as you can see, this is how I like to do them. The elbows back almost like a drag curl. There we go. As I'm lifting straight up with it. How you doing, boss man? All right. Set 2. No. One more. Now with the hammer curls again, I'm holding toward the top of the top plate. There we go. Alright, last set. One thing that's nice, like coming off that volume training program, these workouts so far have been flying by. Here we go. There we go. Alrighty, last workout. We're doing some close grip pull downs. I guess you could call them, is what they're called. I saw a video where Mike Munster was talking about how these are the best movement for the bicep because it works the entire bicep. He said most bicep movements you do, because you're starting at the bottom and you're going to the top, working that bottom part of the bicep. This close grip is able to work the entire bicep from top to bottom. I prefer to use it as a finisher because I feel like having done all my other bicep movements, doing this at the end, I can kind of, my biceps more sensitive to